Hello, I'm Dr. Christine Mahoney. I am Superintendent of the East Granby Public Schools, and welcome to this edition of Your Schools. We are very proud of our East Granby Public Schools. We are proud of our students, our faculty, our staff, our administrators, and we are most proud of our community that supports us in this endeavor to ensure that all of the children receive and benefit from high-quality learning experiences. We are in the business of engaging our students as active learners, and today we have with us one of our administrators, Mrs. Karen Gugel. She is our Director of Student Services, and she plays a very, very important role in helping us to engage all of our learners. So, Karen, welcome.
Thank you.
And today you'll have a chance to share with us some of the wonderful work that you are doing with our students from preschool, from the FRC as it's commonly known, all the way through high school and beyond. So let me begin by just having you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you are doing and your specific role in the district and how your role impacts student learning.
Okay, be happy to do that. In East Granby, our Student Support Services works very closely in a partnership with families, with the community, and with the general education departments in each level. And our goal is really to provide and support students within an inclusive setting, and for our students to reach those high standards that East Granby has for all students. And through that, we really work very hard to design very specific, specialized instruction that is tailored to the student in order to build that success. And we look at that through a multidisciplinary team. So within our department, we have guidance, we have our school nurses, we have social workers, we have a school psychologist, we have occupational and physical therapists. We also have highly skilled and devoted paraprofessionals that work with our students to support our learners within a general education classroom. We also have speech and language pathologists that work or that are an integral part of our team. And through that, we design these individualized programs to help students meet with success within the general education classroom. So it really does take a partnership.
Yeah. Now, you talked about highly qualified paraprofessionals. Tell us about how you ensure that our paraprofessionals are able to fully support the classroom teacher and support the students.
We have a really devoted group of paraprofessionals. They are not only invested in the child being successful academically, but socially. So they are there to support students within social activities, within extracurricular activities. So really looking at the whole child, because we know that when a child is happy and we build on that social piece, that they're much more successful as well academically. And through that, East Granby, it's been wonderful and unique, I think, to East Granby as well, is that we have a number of opportunities built into our calendar for professional development. And so our paraprofessionals have opportunities to have training on autism, on behavior management, on if one of our initiatives this year has been looking at dyslexia and literacy. We've had our paras involved in training as well for that, so they can support. So they're learning the same strategies that our special ed and our general education teachers are as well. And they have professional opportunities that we also have a survey so that we get a sense of some of the topics that they may be interested in. We recently looked at sort of the stress that struggling learners are under, and we looked at different kind of mindful strategies that we could use in a classroom that might help them and reduce that stress during the day. So there's a variety of topics that are either initiated through our paraprofessionals or through the team, or that we know that our state mandates that all our educators are invested in, that they're also a part of that process.
Great,
So-
great. And you also mentioned, Karen, that we are using a fully inclusive model. And for our audience, can you just talk a little bit about that to help them understand what that is and what it looks like?
Sure. East Granby was really one of the first districts in the state. I've been here since 2000, but they're very invested as a district in inclusionary practices. So while many districts had self-contained classrooms that had students with specific disabilities grouped together, East Granby was really on the forefront of ensuring that students were included in the general education classroom with their peers, but still received the specialized instruction. So the model that we use is the students are included, and we have our special ed educators providing services within the general education classroom, as well as if we find that they do need some very individualized instruction in maybe a quieter setting, then we do have them come out in a resource room model. So, and that also ensures that if we have some students that are at risk or might be struggling with a specific concept, that we can also have our general ed learners benefit from the specialized instruction. So through that model, we look at, in our middle school, we don't take our students out of core academic content areas.
That's important.
It is very important, and we try to ensure that they can have that full curriculum. But we also provide, in lieu of a lab or in lieu of, so that we can give them that specialized instruction, as well as our special ed teachers going into the classroom. And I'm proud of, at the high school, we have a very successful model that we include and tutor all students within our resource room, as well as we have a very successful co-teaching model in our English department. So it services and supports students within their English class rather than them coming out for that work. So it really does support that our students spend the majority of their day with their peers within a classroom setting.
Yeah, it's very important that we continue to implement strategies that truly are designed to meet the needs of students, because we really are about every student achieving success. So thank you for that effort. We have a very famous and very successful early childhood preschool program. Tell us a little bit about how that program really started and how it has grown to the point where it has earned the respect not just of people in our community, but even outside of our community, for the successes in working with children with developmental issues and conditions that the staff has been able to really work with. So tell us a little bit about that.
We are very fortunate in East Granby to have such a quality early childhood program. It began years ago under a grant and for the Family Resource Center. And that East Granby supported and believed in early intervention, and from that program grew, we have the Family Resource Center, and then we actually have now our integrated preschool program. So I'll share a little bit about what we offer for the community, because we recently just had our registration. We have, for our Family Resource Center, we have a birth to 36-month program that's taught so that guardians, caretakers, or parents that live in the community can come for that early learning development. So we work on activities with gross and fine motor, begin working on the social skills and a little bit of the independence and imaginative play. We also have a program that's for the ages of 24 to 36 months that it's like called the Terrific Twos that children can come to, because we believe very strongly that every child should have a preschool experience, especially with the standards now in Common Core and the expectations for kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So we want every child to be able to experience a preschool classroom. Then we also have an integrated, and again, for our students that through birth to 3 have been identified as having a disability or developmental delay, we have a typical pair. So it is integrated, and it's been a wonderful experience for both our identified learners as well as those our quote typical models. And we use the Connecticut Early Learning and developmental standards, and we hold parent workshops so that also parents understand those expectations and know what they can do, because parents are the first teachers for a child, and that partnership is really important. So early on we hold workshops, and we have found that our students, and some with significant needs, we have followed the data over time and followed the students through the grades, and we have found that the children who have received this early intervention have closed the gap significantly, or have even no longer require special ed services.
That's pretty profound.
It is.
To be able to close that achievement gap at such an early age. Mm-hmm. That's really important. Sets the stage for future successes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then our students at a young age develop those socialization skills. They're comfortable within their community school. Mm-hmm. We hold parent workshops for our parents that are highly attended as well, and we open them up to the preschools as well in the community.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit more about how your program connects with the community. I know you do incredible work with our local early childhood centers and daycare providers. Tell us how you work with them, what kinds of collaborations you have, and are they part of the training and learning process as well?
So our area preschools that are within East Granby, we meet and we work very closely together. So I serve as a resource for them, so when there are policy reviews or issues that they need to have some consulting work, or specifically if a student that they feel may be struggling within their program, they reach out to our department, and we look as a team once we have releases to go out to the preschools to provide some training, to provide some modeling, to assist with writing behavioral plans, to assist with suggestions and strategies to support the child in the program. And it's a wonderful way to collaborate, because the children that are attending are eventually going to be attending Allgrove and in the kindergarten class. So it's wonderful that we have that insight and we're able to share that. So we do go out and we do site observations and work with children. Also, we open up our professional development opportunities to the community preschools. So we've had educators from the preschools come and participate as well. So they work very, very closely with our preschool team. We also have a parent liaison for our preschoolers that if the need arises or there's some in-service training in-home, that they can do that and do that in a confidential way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, Karen, I know that there is some research out there that says children who have daycare, robust daycare experiences actually do better when they come into kindergarten. You want to share some of what you've read about that?
Sure.
Or maybe what you've noted in the children who come to us from your daycare?
All, really, the recent research really does show that, again, we have to look at the expectations now that are expected when children enter kindergarten, and it is a full-day kindergarten, and there are a lot of student work behaviors that and tabletop activities that are very different for children that have not experienced that preschool setting. So we do work on, specifically the socialization, the vocabulary development, the ability to move. We now in preschool and in the child care centers have learning centers, so they know that movement and of choice and of moving from one activity to another, of having varied activities to work on the gross and fine motor skills, to work on the cognitive and creative and imaginative play. We're doing a lot more with the arts and within the preschool setting. And it really, because when they enter kindergarten, we're actually using a lot of the model that's used in kindergarten for literacy. We are now preparing our preschoolers as they transition to kindergarten. And it does make a significant difference for the child to even learn those routines and those turn taking and the sharing.
Right.
And we do encourage parental involvement because that piece is really important.
Right. So, we can't stress enough the importance of the early learning experiences for our youngest children. When they get to kindergarten, the expectations for performance are pretty high at this level. And, prior to this era that we're in right now, I think there was a lot more play, if you will, in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And now we find that there is more substantive activity. And the growth that we are expecting of students in kindergarten is more significant than in previous years. So, I think you and I are on the same page in terms of stressing to parents that it is so very important for the children to have some sort of formal daycare, early learning experience, because it does help them with the socialization. It helps them to be able to listen to instructions, follow directions. It helps them with routines, and therefore, when the student comes in, the child comes in, instead of us having to spend a lot of time emphasizing those skill sets, we can concentrate on beginning to help them to understand the alphabet and understand the numbers. And it's even better if the children can come in already knowing some of the alphabet and some of their numbers, because then we can accelerate and move them along on the growth continuum. So that's very important. So Karen, tell us about some of the initiatives that you are working on this year in student services.
Sure. We have really looked at dyslexia as an area, as the state now it is part of and can be an identified area under learning disability. So we've done a lot of training with that, with our staff, as well as with paraprofessionals, and looking at literacy. We also are building on, and we are working with CREC and with our Farmington Valley Collaborative Group on looking at the co-teaching model. In most of our districts, we really want to expand that, and we really do have a true model of co-teaching in our English department at the high school, and we really do want to expand that to other areas. So that is also an initiative. We've also have really looked at the use of technology and assistive technology within our department, and we are using that more this year with enhancing student communication and increasing really their ability and access to the curriculum within the classroom. So we're really looking at the assistive technology program for communication. We've also really looked at developing in our guidance department developmental guidance lessons, looking at social curriculums and building character, and have many more social groups to give students those opportunities.
Absolutely. And the peer mediation program that we've started for our students starting with R.D. Seymour School students all the way through the high school, I think that also helps the students with decision making and the social aspect as well.
And we have found from our department's perspective, it's been a wonderful program, and with iLead giving all students an opportunity, the group experiences and the has been wonderful for our students. I did want to also share that we do have a number of collaborative activities with our districts.
Surrounding districts.
So we as directors, we share opportunities for professional development. We share transportation. We have opportunities that we've actually shared programming options. If within one district there's a program that would be successful, and we've had students from other districts participate within our program. So we're always looking on how we can build those opportunities.
Awesome. That's wonderful to hear the collaboration with other communities, because truly the needs are so similar across the board in terms of what our students actually need to be successful, and that's so important. So tell me, Karen, what is it that you're most proud of? Whether this year or last year, or what are some things that you're really proud of?
I do want to share that our department is really multifaceted, because under our department we also have students with 504 plans that require accommodations, not necessarily specialized instruction, but require some accommodations to be successful in the classroom. And I think our guidance counselors work very, very closely with families and outside resource centers to make sure those and work with teachers to make sure that those plans are implemented. We have also under our department English language learners, and I feel that our teachers are reaching out more, and we've also through grants purchased additional materials and technology to support our growing population of English language learners in the classroom. So I am really proud of the changes that have occurred in that over the years. Obviously we've talked about our high quality preschool program, and that's where it starts. That has made a difference. Our life skills program that we have in our middle school, that we've also looked at now doing in our 5th grade in Seymour through high school, has really increased students' independence and looking at what comes after high school and the post-secondary options, and whether it's college, whether it's work. But preparing students for that piece. Our students as special ed learners have achieved strong outcomes on state assessments, which is really exciting, and I think that comes from a highly dedicated team, which they are, including our certified as well as our paraprofessionals. So I'm very proud of the teams.
And rightly so. It's phenomenal to know that all of our students are showing growth. All of our students are demonstrating success, and obviously the plans that we have put in place for each student is working very well. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I notice you have some resources here. Would you like to just say a word about each of those quickly?
Yes. One of the things that we've done through a grant is and if any any community member suspects that their child might have a disability or a developmental delay or may be gifted and talented, if they contact our office, we're there to support and to provide resources, as well as any evaluations if required. And we do have parent lending libraries, and so I just brought a few samples because the topics range. We have one that's housed by the preschool, and then we have an extensive library at Seymour with multiple copies that parents can come in and check out. So we have books on anxiety. We try to get a feel from parents of what may be out there. We have books recently with a lot of children experiencing sensory disorders, so we have a number of books. I brought one. Homework has come up quite a bit, so we have a number of books on, for parents and educators on organization and homework without tears. We have books on behavior management. We have videotapes. We have books on autism, so there's a whole variety. So I would encourage families, they can check them out, keep them as long as they want, but there are a number of selections. These are some that have been taken out more frequently that I brought. And then we also, for our parenting workshops, and it's been highly attended, we have materials through the Love and Logic program. So and there are workbooks that each parent can have that attend. Good. So
it is great to know that you and your staff provide such a rich resource for parents in our community. It's not an easy thing to raise children, and so any amount of assistance that our parents can get in doing that work of really raising a child who is going to be socially and academically well adjusted is certainly a plus for everyone involved. Sure. So I want to thank you for seeking and providing these resources for our families. And of course, as Karen has shared, if you have a child who you suspect may need some assistance in those early years, do not hesitate to contact us at the East Granby Public Schools, and we can direct their call to you or to someone else in your staff, on your staff. So Karen, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming out and for sharing all of this information with our audience, and also thank you and your staff for all the hard work. It is paying off. We know that. We can see the results in our student performance, and obviously it is all part of the teamwork. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Good. And this concludes this segment of Your Schools. We thank you very much for joining us for this segment, and we look forward to you joining us again for our next segment. Have a great evening.